days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you. You give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
I wanted to sit with this Black Men rally for Kamala Harris and confront an elephant in the room, because for me, it's really personal. This, it's a real riff that was manufactured. Manufactured, we can go back to plantation hierarchy and dynamics. And in many ways it was manufactured because the power in Black men and Black women in particular coming together, or men and women coming together around a notion of no hierarchy, just getting things done, is undefeated. Whether we're talking about Nanny, of the maroon culture, whether we're talking about Ida B. Wells and Fannie Lou Hamer, whether we're talking about Ella Baker, who was the architect of the rights that we have today, Mary McLeod Bethune, Nanny Helen Burroughs, quiet, Sojourner Truth. There've been quiet. We don't have to talk about Harriet Tubman. I mean, quiet, loud. There's always kind of been the sense that of community. No matter who leads, we can't talk about Paul Robeson without Essie, Ozzie Davis without Ruby Dee. We really can't. None of those people would be without the women that were there. And we don't talk about Dorothy Porter Wesley. We don't talk about Mary Church Terrell. We don't talk about, these women are not household names, but every bit as integral to where we are. Even Schomburg's book collection, there was a librarian, I think it was Dorothy Porter Wesley that made all that possible. But I say all this to say, as a Black woman on these airwaves, in life, first, in life, let's talk about in life. I am who I am because a Black man not just provided DNA, but also this inspiration that I got on a regular basis, both spoken, you're a hunter, and there's something required of you as a hunter. Wasn't you're a girl hunter or a boy, you're a hunter, and that means something. And so, no, you bringing in this B is unacceptable. And, the teacher says you're disruptive, I'm coming to school. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm about to get my ass whooped. Nope. He says to the teacher, give her more work. You are not challenging her. This was the first grade, and I'll never forget it because I was scared because I kept correcting the teacher in school. And my dad was like, you can't do that. Adults don't take kindly to being corrected. I was right. He said, you're right, but you can't do that. And it was just those little moments of time that I spent with him, teaching me every card game. My grandmother also, but he sitting with me. I never forget setting up the card table in their bedroom, in my parents' bedroom, teaching me how to play gin rummy and Scrabble, and those moments. But it was him getting up at 5:00 every morning to go open his store that he owned, and watching how he fed the community that he was part of, that he grew up in, over that store, that today gives me the inspiration. So I'm not here, of course, without that Black man, and of course my mom, who I don't talk about a lot, but I talk about my dad because he's not here. And so I want to keep his name alive because I am powered by him. So there's never going to be an opportunity for me to sit here and be, oh. But I think on some other level, this show, there are no numbers on supposedly at SiriusXM, so we don't have numbers. But I do have numbers on YouTube, where I have almost 200,000 subscribers. And as I was looking at those numbers today, 58.3% of my subscribers are men. 58.3% of my subscribers are men. And from what I understand, the majority of people who listen to Urban View, to SiriusXM, because it's the house that Howard Stern and Sports built, are men. So we are every day supported by Black men, by men in general. I mean, even the show, Smiz is the damn, I mean, none of this really happens. The level of commitment that Smiz has to this show is beyond the paycheck that he gets. Before him, it was Jameson. In Nubia narrative, it is Urias, it is Ahmad, it is Carl. You know, I am surrounded by Black men who commit to a thing that allow me. I was just having a conversation today with Urias, and I was thanking him because he allows me to be creative in a way. Ahmad, especially, you know, in terms of making sure everything is done and all of the, you know, all of the back end stuff is done. But that allows me to be, you know, come up with ideas. Well, what if we did this? And I know I have people who are going to support, but the man I want to really talk about today is in terms of, and this is important because the elephant in the room doesn't exist except that we give it breath, you know. And if we're being honest, and I said this yesterday and the day before and the day before, everybody was brought to this world through the womb of a woman. Whatever complicated relationships you have with your mother that makes you not feel as if as a man you can support a woman is something for you and your therapist to work out. It is a dysfunction. It is a disease, a dis-ease. It is not healthy to have the abject rejection of a woman's authority over your life because the first authority was probably your mother. And if you didn't like that, and you still have a complicated relationship with her, work it out with your therapist. But don't drag us into hell because of your unresolved issues with your mother. But as a woman, I actually, every business partner I've ever had has been a man, and I sought it out because of the balance that it brings me. But the relationship I have with Dr. Gray Carr, I just want to speak to it. Of every partnership I've had, I have never experienced the level of support that I've gotten from that man. And I want to say that publicly because his support allows me to dream even bigger than I'm already a big dreamer. But his brilliance, but the way he loves me, and I know it's love because it's an action word, right? So I get to be, yes, I sit in a position in Class with Carr on purpose. I made a conscious decision that In Class with Carr would not be about me. I was never going to center me, even though it launched on my YouTube channel because we didn't have Nubia at the time. But I was like, I need to center this man and his brilliance in this space. And even he didn't want it to be named after him. He was rejecting all of that. And I was like, no, sir, no, it's going to be, if Nick Cannon's going to have Cannon's class, damn it, it's going to be In Class with Carr. Okay. It needs to be that because 100 years from now, when somebody pulls up this, you know, these videos, it needs to center you because in every other iteration that I see him in, he's in a support role. Because that's who he is as a human being, right? And it was uncomfortable for him to actually be out front like that. And I thought that was interesting. But, you know, my commitment to this work meant that we had to center him for a lot of reasons. But his squeamishness around that speaks to his character, too. He much rather elevate other people. And so in this back and forth relationship that has grown over 4 years, because I just met him 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. It has been confirmation of what's possible when we come together, truly come together with that as a foundation, not getting caught up in gender roles, you know, who's in charge and I need to be in charge and all. Nah, he's the easiest person I've ever worked with in my entire life. And I absolutely love him with every fiber of my being. And to me, he's the blueprint of what that should look like. Strong, powerful, 100%, all of that. But understands what is needed and fills in where he gets in, where he fits in. Listen, as we move forward towards November, I just want to encourage everybody, if you are on the fence, I need to know, first of all, are your balls snagged on the fence? Like, what is happening with you on the fence? I hope you're not tangled in barbed wire being on the fence. But there, to me, right now, should be no question about what the next move is. And again, I'm speaking to 58% of men. So to me, there's no conflict. There's no elephant in the room. Even in support, as I think about, Healthy Wealthy, there's Dewan, there's Izzy. Dr. Gerard hasn't been to a single Healthy Wealthy Wise, but supports every single one. He sent books. He's, given badges and all kinds of, like Jerome, hello to you. I feel so supported by the men that show up every day for Urban View and for this show. So I will never have a beef, and I will never have that conversation. And I think in many ways, we manufacture the world we want to live in. So that's not going to be a conversation I'm having, whether it's your lived experience, anecdotally or what have you. I'm not saying that there's no misogyny. I'm not saying that there's no sexism in our community, but we teach people how to treat us. And I believe that the men that show up for this show and for this channel are showing up because that's what I demand. Demand you to show up. And I dare you not to. Because we have work to do, and I can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. We need you. And anybody that says I don't need no man or whatever, they're speaking out of their lack. I'm speaking out of abundance. Yes, we need all of you to show up for us. Can you do that? And if you can't, sit down and be quiet somewhere. Don't get in the way. That's the request right now. Whatever your feelings are, work it out with your therapist. But do not drag the rest of us into your hell.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in. Just what I needed. You're the closest.